So we have the new, well, it's not new, it's about a year old, Radial Nuance. Like all things radio, I'm assuming if I drop it, it'll go through the floor and dent the floor and come out the other side. No, Radial stuff, I mean, it's pretty...
It's dense. Yeah, it's proper, feels solid, 100%.
Yep, 100%. High quality. I think when it comes to monitor selectors like this, keeping it simple makes the most amount of sense to me. Number one, mono switch, mute, dim control, A, B, and sub. So 2 sets of speakers and a sub on and off. Headphones, auxiliary 1 and 2, source 1 and 2, source 1 and 2. So let's have a look on the back to make that make sense. Okay, so 2 sets of speakers there, 2 sets of source inputs there, left and right, an auxiliary send and a sub send. Made in Canada, weighs a ton. And if it's radial, A, it'll be built like a brick, you know what, but also it should sound absolutely transparent.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll just plug this in, listen through the ATCs and go, wow, there's no coloration. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And it's dumb and does the job. It's one of those things, I think, where it's about common sense. What else do you use? You want to sub on and off.
Yeah.
You want to select 2 different types of speakers. You want to select a couple of different source inputs. You want a mono control. You want to be able to mute. I mean, you can have those fancy mutes where you mute one speaker or the other. I've never done that my entire life.
No, yeah.
But I do like a dim and I do like a mono switch.
It's got 2 headphone outputs as well. So if you're working with someone else, you can both share a headphone mix or, send it to the artist. I think there's the big knob on the front. That's just...
Be careful there.
Yeah.
There was
the large dial.
The large circular dial, not the making big knob.
The large potentiometer on the top here just feels
large
really...
variable potentiometer, that rotary variable potentiometer. No, it's fantastic.
Again, it just feels solid. When you turn these things, you want to make sure that it feels real in your hand and it's not going to fall off or it's going to last a long time. That's what you want.
Said the Bishop Theatrist. All right, let's have a listen. Young Josh over here, that would be Josh, has wired this up. So we got this in Pro Tools, yeah?
Yeah.
Source 1 is Pro Tools. Source 2 is coming off the Mac. So if we want to play something off Apple Music or Spotify or Tidal or whatever, here's our main volume. Explain to me this. Source 1, Source 2.
So this is essentially a headphone on and on button down here where it says phones.
Nice.
And then this is a toggle between Source 1 and Source 2 to feed that headphone. So with it up like that or whatever, the thing up, it's on Source 1. So this will be playing.
Okay.
That's playing Pro Tools. And if I was to press that button, it goes to be Source 2 as the source for the headphones. Okay. And that's independent control for each of these.
Yeah.
So you've got, you could be on Source 1 for this set of headphones, and then you could be on Source 2 for this set of headphones.
Nice.
Very nice. Separate headphone mixes for your vocalist or whatever. You could have that all just set up here.
And this aux 1 and 2.
That's an output from the monitor controller, which I think is a quite different feature, actually. You don't often see in monitor controllers. There's no volume control for that aux output.
Okay.
So in my mind, this would be if you're a kind of like what we're doing, if you're streaming or doing video, this is a feed straight out of your monitor that could go to, say, a Zoom recorder or a camera feed or whatever else.
Nice.
Just straight audio out. Very
good. And then other than that, it's all of the things that you want, as we were talking about before. So at the moment, we're playing back a session on Pro Tools. I'm gonna feel you all over. Mono. Through when I get too low. We're on the grot boxes. Sorry, NS10s. It's through when I get too low. I'm gonna feel you all over. When I get you, leave it right over. Through. It's crazy going to the NS10s. All the reverb just disappears. Because all the mid-range comes so far forward, you can't hear any subtlety in the reverb. And, of course, all the low end disappears. So what can I say? It's classic, all the things that you want, really, really straightforward, and it's built by Radial, so you know it's going to last for 4.5 million years. There's going to be the nuclear...
Yeah. It would be cockroaches
and Radial products. Those transients are super fast.
Yeah, so I was doing some reading up on this beforehand, and they said that the way they've built it is to have extremely low total harmonic distortion range. So it's meant to be like one of the cleanest monitor controllers that could ever exist.
That's probably why I'm hearing the transients are so fast. Everything's so snappy rather than all nicely furry because it's...
I actually think it sounds different. We were using the API monitor controller and it does sound a bit different.
Yep.
So it's a 0.00001% total harmonic distortion or something, which is...
lower than a lower thing on National Low Day. Yep, you alone. I'm gonna feel you all over. Yeah, it's pretty tasty. It really is about the transients. Everything seems to be so much more further forward than I remember the mix. I'm gonna go to Augustana. For me, it's always about the vocal on this one.
It doesn't matter anyhow. You say, hey, we're just bleeding for nothing. It's hard to breathe when he's standing on your wall.
This was recorded at our old studio in Laurel Canyon, and you could just kind of hear the room. Top.
I call to the Green Mountain State.
Oh, yeah.
I call to the silence you make.
That's really nice. I could work on that. This was recorded and mixed at the studio. It was a pair of Genelec 1032s. Like, I know that sounded great. I could hear the air on the floor tom.
Yeah.
Everything was superb. Yeah. Okay, this is good. Especially if you like mixing in the box. This makes absolutely perfect sense. Like, super, super clean. I know lots of people have been telling me to listen to it because it is so clean. Yeah, I love it. I've got one more thing I want to check and then I'll throw it back over to you. I think I could mix with this.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really, the transients are super, super fast. I don't know why that is, because I'm not an electronics engineer. But you know what I mean? It's like, I get distance. I get a lot of depth, a lot more depth, because the ATCs are very mid-range forward, aren't they? They're like always in your face, but there seems to be more clarity than what I've been listening to.
Any kind of distortion, no matter how small, would kind of blur things. And if this is meant to be extremely low distortion, then you're just getting more accurate signal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really super clean. For me, this is kind of like if you've got a nice interface that you really like and you like the functionality of it, but you want to include a second set of speakers, or you want to have another headphone mix for an artist, or you want to just have more flexibility for routing audio around your studio, but you don't want to get a patch bay and a big monitor controller and a big 16-channel interface and all that kind of stuff. This is just perfect kind of for home studio people.
It is interesting, isn't it? Well, and also pros as well.
Pros as well, yeah.
We were just over at Al Grove's studio in Liverpool, and he has SSL duality.
Right.
And all his master bus and all his routing goes for a Crane song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Isn't there a Crane song in the other room there?
Next door, yeah.
With the Neve.
Yeah. But it doesn't go through the Neve. It goes straight out of the interface into the Crane song and into...
Yeah, that's what he does as well.
Yeah.
So he tracks with the duality,
character,
monitors back through the Crane song, but then when he comes to mix, he goes back in the duality and uses every channel for the EQ and compression.
Yeah.
So an interesting blend.
Definitely.
So there's definitely something to be said, even with these incredible companies like API, SSL, and Neve, all three of these, using an incredibly clean, I suppose also, dare I say, simple, straightforward, not a lot of schnizzle going on, does the job.
Easy to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Often with a monitor section on a console, it's kind of a bit to the side, not always in the ideal position. And you don't always have a sub on-off control. You don't always have two headphone outputs with independent volume controls and independent source selection for those headphone outputs. So it's definitely got a lot more features than the average console monitor section. And it feels super solid. It looks great.
So pros and cons. I don't know how much it is. I think it's
it's $700 on Sweetwater.
So it's like $699 presumably.
Yeah, $699.99. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not super cheap, but it's definitely pro.
Yeah.
I think that being Radial, we also know that, all joking aside, if you throw it against that wall, the wall will be dented. It will keep working. So we know it's built to last. It sounds really good. It sounds, well, basically, it doesn't,
It doesn't sound. That's the point.
Yeah, it doesn't sound. It doesn't seem to add any coloration and very little or no distortion whatsoever. So mixing, and also it'd be great for people mastering as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if you're mastering in a box and you want to get really clean results.
Yeah, I found sometimes with mono buttons on less good monitor controllers, sometimes you hit mono and the volume changes, or it doesn't always give you that proper phantom center because there's a slight difference, or that kind of the summing isn't right. But when you hit that mono button on this, it just completely collapses to the center. It feels like if I was going to do some mastering and I wanted to check that mono image, that would be a really clean way of doing it.
Yeah,
it just sounds really good.
Great. I think it's a 2 thumbs up. No, I think it's great. I think it's really, really good. Yeah. We love what Radial do. We were looking around. There's a whole bunch of Radial stuff.
Yeah, we got loads of Radial stuff here.
Yeah, it's made in Canada and built to last and sounds super clean.
It really does.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, everyone. So long. Farewell. La vie de au revoir. Adios. Goodbye.